It's the best and worst of the decade with Ron and Fez. The TV edition.
We're going to have a tea party tonight. We're going to have a tea party.
Hi, it's the Ron and Fez show here on Hour 2 now. Hour 2 of the best and worst of this decade, the decade without a name. Yesterday, we did the films. Davey Mack, are you happy with the films that we picked as best and worst?
I was. For the most part, I thought it was a really good job.
Fezzy, what about you?
I think we summed up the best of the decade. And I don't know about the worst.
I will say this, as far as the worst. I am really almost angry none of us brought up M. Night Shyamalan. That really should have been my job. There were two different films that go in there, so he might get the special of the film worst.
Honorable mention.
Yeah. Today we're doing the best and worst of the 2000s, and we put our eyes to something that gets a little less watched every year, and that's television. Television, the best and worst of TV. Dave, do you watch as much television as you used to?
I watch more, Ronnie. I watch more. I actually watch more.
Because of DVRing?
Because of DVRing, because of reality television. But yeah, actually because of DVR, I'm able to catch quite a bit of TV on. Everyone packs their shows into Wednesday and Thursday. That's it. If you have a show, you pack it into Wednesday and Thursday.
What's the big shows on Wednesday night?
On Wednesday night, you get the big Bravo shows. You get the big Project Runways. For a long time, we're on Wednesdays. Top Chef on Bravo was on Wednesdays and stuff like that.
So you're a Bravo man.
Even though Lost in season 4 was switched from Thursday to a Wednesday because Wednesdays that's
I'm
important.
trying to keep up here. Did you lose a tooth? You sound very strange today.
Oh, yeah. I had a cavity and my tooth fell out.
I do want to point this out. I think it needs to be said. A lot of drinking went on before this segment. And Dave is going to be a little loaded, and so will Fez.
That is absolutely true. I will confess to it right now.
Yeah, well, the delay was he was nodding as if...
I'm not going to delay.
Right. You're going to be there?
I might speak with a speech impairment.
Yeah.
But I won't delay.
There's Bravo shows. You know what you remind me of? Is like when you're drunk and you go into work and you try not to be drunk. See, in movies when they try to show a drunk... It's a person acting drunk,
right?
But every drunk tries to act not drunk.
Yeah.
So instead of like, they're like, how are you? They get real stiff.
Really stiff.
What an interesting thing to see you.
And in movies, they never point out that the smell is the first fucking giveaway.
It's a dead giveaway.
You just can't get around
also
it.
because we're whiskey drinkers here.
Yeah.
It's a combination of formal and informal when they try to hide it in the movies, where it's like you're formal because you're speaking like, how are you today? But then you're informal where you're just putting your hands on people.
Yes.
Oh, no. TV shows.
TV shows.
Best and worst.
Of the 2000s. TV shows of the 2000s. And let's start this with the best of the best. Dave, over the 2000s, what was your favorite show?
I was looking at the entire decade and I thought, holy shit, you know what? There are actually some more shows that I loved and that surprised me. But the best show, and this might be cliched, it's Lost. It's the best show. It was the best show on television. I'm sorry. It was from start to finish. I didn't catch Lost in seasons 1 and 2.
When everybody was watching?
When everyone was watching.
You were lost.
Even the Ron Fez show was on, like, Washington, D.C. or something, and I wasn't actually watching the show, and I was like, man, I should watch this show. I had to work at nights. At that part, I was a barback/bartender, so I could never... And DVRs really hadn't come out yet.
Yeah.
When I saw Lost, Ronnie... when I got the DVDs for Lost, it was like, holy shit, I've discovered this great movie. There's probably been at least 80 episodes of Lost. There's probably been 5 episodes that I've hated. That means 75 out of 80.
You're so drunk. You're so drunk when we're trying to do this show.
I'm not drunk.
Yeah. Oh, you are, though.
I'm not, Ronnie.
Maybe you still have a point, but you are drunk.
Okay, Ronnie.
Yes.
Yes, I am drunk. But the point is, Lost was the best show of 2000s. It was the most innovative. It was the most original. And for God's sakes, it was not a motherfucking reality show. Thank you. Dave McDonald gets the points.
Lost is his #1 show. I'm going to have to re-catch up with this one. Would this have made your top 10, Fezzy?
It would have made my top 10, but it didn't sustain for the entire decade.
Wrong.
No, there was a season or a half season, because the way they broke it up, where it was like, I can't take this anymore. It's a deserted island. It turned into Gilligan's Island at one point because there were so many damn people on this deserted island.
Well, there was only 7 on Gilligan's Island.
We wait 4 goddamn years for the Olympics. We can wait fucking 6 months for Lost to resume. It wasn't that big of a deal. It wasn't a life changer. And quite frankly, it got stronger in season 4 and 5 and 6.
They had a lot of problems in the later seasons where they were just introducing too many characters. They took you out of that lost world. Now, I will agree that they were able to bring it back. That last half season, they were able to bring it back.
Phenomenal show.
I'm going to have to catch up with this before it comes back on. I quit during the bad times.
I'll give it to you.
When?
I've given you shows before. I'll give it to you again. I just don't personally own Lost.
I think I need the
yet.
3rd and 4th.
No.
And 5th.
You definitely saw season 3. What you didn't see is season 4, 5, or 6.
Okay, I need all those. All right, so Fez, Hicks, would this have made your top 10?
It would have stuck in at number 10.
Okay.
Yeah, low.
You're
right.
He calls me Ronnie.
That's the booze talking. That's not you. You don't hate him that much.
No, I don't.
You're just a little liquored up.
Okay.
So most of us think it would have made our top 10. Not necessarily our top 1. Matter of fact, Fez and Dave are even furious it would have came up.
Yeah, I'm furious.
Let's go to Fezzy next, because I'm not sure if I could guess Fez's. I think I could probably guess about 3 that are Hicks's, but I think Fez is going to be a mystery to me.
The best TV show of the 2000s was the original Survivor. It brought us into reality television, and it was edge of the seat who was going to be eliminated. Plus, I don't know if there was a better television moment in the 2000s decade than Sue Hawk coming up there with the rat versus the snake speech.
Well, let's just correct a couple things. Number 1, I will give you that, but in hindsight, it kind of becomes like who shot JR. You know what I mean? Like, just because everybody was watching and everybody got caught up doesn't mean it was actually great.
Absolutely.
You can't go back and watch that now and feel like I've watched something great. It feels hokey and stupid. And the other only part that I'll give you, Fez, is that I might give it season 1 up to season 2, but at that point, they repeated everything so many times that even though you watched, it became redundant and ran into each other.
And also, remember like what the Truman Show was in 1997, and they didn't have these, Survivor-type shows,
right.
Apprentice, nothing came out for another 3 years, and Truman Show perfectly gave the example. As soon as Truman got out of there, they flipped the channel.
Right.
And it was an amazing fucking thing about how dispensable reality TV is. Sorry, Fez.
Yeah, it's hard for me to look at any of it as classic.
But the Survivor 1 season finale had me on the edge of my seat more than anything Lost ever did.
But this isn't fair, Fezzy, because it's still on television. You can't pick out a single episode and say that's the best series. That's what we're picking out right now.
But also, I don't know anyone from and I watched Survivor 1. I don't know any single person. I remember Survivor 2. I remember one guy, Colby. Survivor 1, no idea. Oh, yeah. The Richard Hatch.
The gay guy. And
that's
then...
it. But that's it. That's actually it.
I doubt if even most people who loved it can mention more than 2 or 3.
It's true.
I know nobody could go through it. I know there was an old guy, there was a doctor, a couple of broads. It's just, it is kind of forgettable, and it's almost like trying to remember great times that you've masturbated. You know what I mean? Yeah. It might feel really good at the time, but you don't look back on it fondly. It's just passing time.
I'm a reality TV horror. I love watching it. I love watching.
I thought you would have sex with people if you could watch reality TV.
But at the same time, I'm not going to be under the just insanity that it's better than a drama.
This is Fez's. You feel like you're taking a beat down from the others. Let's find out if this made anybody else's top 10.
No way, Ron.
Yeah.
Come on. It might have because it started reality television. I think it blew up the reality television.
It gave you that first feeling of reality television that set the pace for the decade.
But that's not what we're doing here. We're picking out best show, not who set a trend or you can't look back on Herman's Hermits as being fucking important,
right?
Even though they were gigantic at the time and sold a lot of records.
The decade.
In hindsight, they're a fucking pet rock.
This was a 2000 and 2001 show. I mean, people by the time it was 2003, Fez, be honest, you did not have the exact amount of buzz watching Survivor as you did in 2000. Period.
No, but what it did was it set the precedent for The Apprentice, for American Idol.
That has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
If we want the feeling I got from that season of that show.
But here's the thing: if we would have came up with this is the trends of this, I'll give you that.
Most influential.
Yeah, whatever. No. But the purpose of this was best and worst television shows, not which trends. It has nothing to do with The Apprentice. If anything, that just helped to hurt a fucking decade.
It really did.
It really did, overall. Let's get back here to our own Pepper Hicks, the one that the kids call Hicksy, online. And
they do?
I don't know why they do it. Chris Stanley, I think I got yours, but what do you have for me?
The best show of this last decade was easily the HBO series The Wire.
Wow.
Without a doubt. I got that. Best the fourth season of The Wire was probably the best season of any television show I've ever watched, ever. And I don't think anyone else here watched it.
I haven't seen a single episode.
Me neither.
It was amazing.
Me3.
And it got overshadowed because it was on the same time as The Sopranos.
You're going to...
and it was still on HBO?
You're going to be probably pissed at this, but when Fez and I were at JFK, we got a call from them, give us some audio, and when the guys are doing a stakeout, they'll be, listening to Ron and Fez or something, and we never sent it to them.
Oh, come on. Are you guys fucking crazy?
Yeah. What the fuck is this? We didn't know what the show was.
It's on HBO!
Yeah, we just thought, I don't know what it is.
Sounds stupid.
If it's on HBO, I guess that was... I have still HBO.
What are you saying?
HBO.
Yeah, I got the HBO.
They're pretty goddamn first class.
Chris, if it makes you feel any better, still go ahead and send some tape.
But actually, that should make the Ron Fez thing be first class because that's HBO only does first class.
Well,
shit.
I want to say this. I now want to watch The Wire. I want to watch it. Get me the entire series. And for Pepper Hicks to pick this as his number one, it's pretty important.
Mikey Boy has been kind enough to give me a lot of The Wires on. I used to have an iPod, so I used to get to my iPod, and now I have a BlackBerry, so I can get to my BlackBerry. Mikey Boy gets me these things. They're awesome, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
They're awesome. Best show, when Sopranos is in its peak, or my show when Lost is in its peak, I'm not sure if it's the best, but it's a good job. But I'm not sure if it's in...
I'm going to go back to Hicks. This is what makes yours so much better than Lost.
Because The Wire was able to tell a coherent story and move the plot along a lot faster than Lost would. And it made you care more about the characters in The Wire.
But that's because HBO realizes that they only have 13 episodes as a part to... The Lost has on TV networks has 22 episodes.
Yeah, but
so they don't have to rush the fucking season.
They could do They could do a season in a year, and they can do as many seasons as they want. It's HBO. They can do whatever they want.
They can do whatever they want anytime they want.
I recall
they're not TV. They're HBO.
Pepper, I recall you saying this last season of Lost gave you a orgasm. Is that true or not?
No, you just made that up.
You did not jerk off to Lost.
That's just, well, if it was on when he did, that has
Ronnie.
nothing to do with it.
Ronnie.
I don't think that's the same thing as you're watching a show and get an orgasm.
He said it, Ronnie.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, I'm going to move on and give you this, and unlike you three, I've given this a little bit of thought. And
I gave it thought.
There are great comedy shows that took Curb Your Enthusiasm, fantastic show. But I had to say this, unlike most of the shows that you are talking about, what I did, first of all, I cheated and I gave it a tie. But I gave it a tie, 2 shows that fill the same hour, and they do it 4 days a week. I'm going to give it to The Daily Show and Stephen Colbert, because it's the most consistent comedy in a thing of go turn on all the other comedy shows after them and see if you laugh as much.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Letterman, Leno.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is the 2 most consistent shows, and people that like doing smart comedy. It doesn't mean that they don't do dumb jokes. They do. But I don't think that you could sit there as a stupid person and be able to enjoy those shows every night.
It's one of the most amazing shows of all time. In fact, I actually get surprised that they can do my favorite thing is when they have one of their reporters do one of those street segment type deals.
Well, go back to The Daily Show and how many great people have gone through that
doing the street segments. And the thing about it is, if you watch The Daily Show every single day, the street segment is amazing.
It's killer.
It's actually personally my favorite part of the show. I love
and they're not afraid to book some smart people and talk about smart things, drop the comedy a little bit.
They can do anything.
Consistently have the funniest jokes. Then you switch over to Conan or Letterman, and you're going, here's somebody that's aiming lower. No offense to either one of those guys, because they're funny, but they don't trust their audience as much as The Daily Show and Stephen Colbert.
The amazing thing about The Daily Show especially is, like with The Tonight Show, you think Conan O'Brien, and then you think Jay Leno was there, and Johnny Carson was there. With The Daily Show, you don't even think about Craig Kilborn anymore doing that show. It's a Jon Stewart creation.
But to get back into this, I think Colbert actually has the harder job.
Yeah.
When this came on, I go, this is so... A, he's got to follow him. B, he's got to grab that character and keep it. And when he did it, I go, this is really funny. I'll give it 3 months. And then he's going to completely burn out and either have a talking dog next to him.
And the Jon Stewart character is closer to John. It's
closer to him. Yeah.
And the Colbert character is not close to Colbert. There's no way that he is a right-wing guy. It doesn't matter what your politics are. There's no way that he feels his politics.
And that show also stings the left quite a bit as far as being pussy. It's really funny. Hicks, in terms of comedy, what other comedies would have made your top 10?
Obviously, Curb Your Enthusiasm, and probably, but the weird thing about Colbert and Daily Show, it's transcended comedy, where it's turning in real news.
Well, a lot of people get their news broken for them there. It really has. And if you go over and you watch regular news, they start to lift off some of that man on the street stuff.
Ron, while we've been on the show, sometimes when I'm talking to you guys on the Ron Fez show, I will notice on one of the televisions, MSNBC or CNN will have what's going on in the Daily Show, what's going on with the Colbert Show.
Right.
It's like they actually have to check in. That's one of their fucking parts of their show. It's insane. And it's insane to think that...
here was another interesting thing. When John McCain did the show with Jon Stewart, Stewart fucking schooled him, right?
Yeah.
When Obama did it, he turned it over and gave it to Obama and just said, I would have liked to see him take Obama on just to see if Obama would have kept up to him. Because in a lot of ways, it did feel like I think I'd be more comfortable with fucking crazy Jon Stewart in there than some of these other people.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get the, he's going to lean to the left with Jon Stewart, and that's cool if you're, like a person like myself. What did you think about best comedy of the 2000s? I thought was Arrested Development.
Great show.
And I worship Curb, and I worship every single person on Curb. Every single individual on Curb should be given, forget about Emmys. They should be given Pulitzers.
But you brought up Arrested Development.
I love it.
Even though it was a great show.
It kills me.
I don't think it could have lasted too long anyway before it finally would have got to that point where,
I don't know.
I get it.
It lasted 3 seasons, and I'm such a fucking... I feel like a jerk for not having watched it when it came on.
You were. You're one of the reasons why it got canceled.
I think...
you have to make me feel guilty, though.
I think a comedy show that found its footing in the 2000s, and it was through women, Saturday Night Live. Where you got Molly Shannon, you ended up with Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, and Maya Rudolph.
Can I tell you something? Yeah, some really great moments. You can't go back and tell me a great show that they had, pillar to post. And I agree with everything that you said. There's some really good people who've done that show and done some really funny things. But they never have great shows.
I love
ever.
I love the Maya Rudolph. I love her. But
all the people you said I adore. But it's not a great show.
Right. It just...
They don't care enough.
Well, you know what it is, honestly, right? They don't fucking gel. Mm-hmm. If you watch in the early 90s when, Phil Hartman is a fucking brilliant comedian, okay? And so that guy that guy had all of his fucking skits. Mm-hmm. He was always happy to be a supporting player on a Dana Carvey skit or a Mike Myers skit. And then guess what? Bide his time until it will be a Phil Hartman skit, and then Carvey will have to support me.
I will say this, though. Maybe even my favorite TV moment of the 2000s would have been Saturday Night Live, and it had nothing to do with comedy. And that's when they did the fake ending and had U2 go in, I Will Follow.
Oh, forget it.
And U2 ran through the audience. And it just reminded, the thing that always frustrated me is that's what that show should be doing.
Right.
Stop having this set segment done the same way. Break the fucking rules. Break the rules for once in your goddamn life.
Can I tell you another bad thing that's going on in the late 2000s that's like a very bad trend is the shows showing inside the shows. It's not just Saturday Night Live. It's SportsCenter. It's CNN, MSNBC. Not only do we have to see the anchors, but now we get to see the cameramen who are shooting the anchors.
Right.
And we get to see the anchormen putting their, putting their cards down and throwing a pencil like everyone does the Letterman thing. And everyone's doing the same thing. And it's ridiculous that... Why take the magic away from a fucking show? In fucking 75, when Belushi fucking went on screen and ran around with Wheaties Donuts, it was the fucking funniest thing we ever saw in our entire life. And now they're going to show you how...
Dave,
Andy Samberg showed
Dave,
it.
you're really drunk. You need to sit down.
I'm getting excited.
I know,
very
but
upset.
I let you ramble, and you added nothing. Nothing.
I did add a lot.
Just sit down. Just really sit down.
Sorry.
We're going to break. We're going to take a break. That's okay. We're going to take a break here.
I'm very angry.
Well, if I cared more, I'd go back and edit it. But I'm just going to leave this. Because this is Christmas vacation. People should be drunk and listening. But you just went on a drunk rampage that just, seriously, it made me want to go to a meeting. It made me want to go to a meeting.
I was looking at you.
It wasn't even, let me just say this. This fucking maniac drunk friend of yours, Fez, brings up something that wasn't even in his top shows. And now you're rampaging against it. This has nothing to do with what our format is about.
This is right.
It was about the best and worst of the 2000s. All right, we've done the best. We're going to drink some coffee when we get back and pick up our worst of the 2000s. Happy holidays, everybody. It's the Ron and Fez Show. It is Ron and Fez back for the best and worst of the 2000s. Time to take a look now at the worst of, and I'm going to start this one with our own Pepper Hicks. Pepper Hicks.
All right, the worst show of this shitty decade was The American Office.
The American Office, really?
Yeah. It bastardized an amazing TV show from Britain, and literally as the show went on, maybe between the second and third seasons, it became a shell of anything it could have been. And the writing just turned to crap. The show went on for too long.
And the show but let's suppose this. What if you had never seen The British Office? Because a friend of mine, I tried to sell, and I should have and could have put The British Office up there as, one of my number one shows. It would definitely make a top 10. It would have made a top 5 for me. But it was short and sweet. And I also think it's already of that time. Maybe it's because of The American Office, but it seems so already done whenever you go back and watch those episodes.
I still would have nominated this just for the Jim Pam, how the relationship has come about. That was the driving force of the show. It was the driving force of the other show with the boss. But their relationship turned to such shit once they got together. Mm-hmm. It was nauseating to see them together. And
that's kind of historical for, TV. I don't think The American Office would have made my top 10, but I don't see it at the bottom. I mean, there's so much crap out there. I think you're just mad at something that you kind of liked at one point.
He's an Anglophile.
He doesn't have his Pam.
Would this have made anybody's worst of list, The American Office?
No, it wouldn't have made mine.
I actually still watch it.
I mean, obviously, we can't put this into shit. I watched the first 2 seasons. I loved it. The last 2 seasons I thought were terrible. But, it's not enough to overrule the first 2 seasons.
And
Steve Carell was funny. Come on, stop.
And there is stuff out there that's actually dreadful.
Yeah.
Where The Office is at least has some laughs. Even on bad nights, it's not appallingly dreadful like most TV.
He can't deny that Steve Carell was funny. He can't deny that.
Mm-hmm.
He can't.
At points, he was funny, but the show's gotten so bad.
Thank you.
It's destroyed everything that happened before it.
Thank you. But that's the point. It doesn't go against your. It's not in your worst list. Sorry.
Let's go to Fez Whatley now, and this is your worst stuff.
The worst TV show of the 2000s, the Geico Caveman show. Now, that was something I've enjoyed the commercials. I thought clever enough commercial. They tried to put it in a TV show. It was the absolute worst thing anyone has even tried on television.
Well, give me a reason why.
For some reason, the cavemen are there, you're watching them, and there's no jokes. It's like maybe it works in 30-second things where a caveman can give a disgusted look, but when you're counting on these characters to carry a half-hour sitcom, there's just not enough there.
Yeah, I don't know if it ever worked for me as 30 seconds. That's the part that I never got. I never sat there and laughed at, those cavemen. They're really going through problems. You guys feel the same as Fez?
I never saw it. I mean, I saw them. It might as well have been the San Diego Chicken getting his own comedy show.
That's basically what it was.
But I wouldn't expect the San Diego Chicken sitcom to be any good. So
I think they tried to make it anchor one of the primetime nights.
But I don't know why you would expect that show to be good, because it's fucking mascots. It's Mr. Med.
You're let down a lot more than any of us would have been. You seem to be angry the way that Hicks is angry at The Office.
It was crappy.
I don't know how
characters.
you would look into this caveman thing and be optimistic about it.
But I think what it says, it's a statement on the creativity of the networks during the 2000s.
Don't watch the show though,
where it's the absolute worst idea possible, and they went ahead and ran with it.
But don't watch the show.
What does it tell you about the creativity?
Well, it just shows, like, we saw something, we're sitting there, we're watching TV, we saw a commercial that amused us, we tried to make our living out of it, we tried to expand it when it was just a commercial. It was basically just a slogan.
But I'll give you this, at least it was written, it was performed. To compare that with the Gaudis and the fucking... shows that aren't even about anything.
I mean, the guys were
I would at least get, if you've tried a TV show, a drama or a comedy, and you failed at it, I can understand. That would happen. But just to go, I'm going to follow someone around with a camera, and this will be great, I don't know how that's a TV show. Let's get Dave Navarro and Carmen Electra. There have so many of them that have come and gone. And they're both extremely hot, and you're like, it's terrible. What's your idea for the worst? Okay, my idea is a different thing than, Fez and Pepper. Rome on HBO. And here's the reason why. I am an HBO lover. I love The Sopranos. I loved The Larry Sanders Show. Okay, I love Curb Your Enthusiasm, and I've loved Deadwood, one of their dramas. Why don't you now take us to Rome? Now we're going to take you to Rome. Thank you. Where the fucking guys, there's no violence, and there's no story. So that's cool. If you're not going to be into an action show, give us a good story. They were not giving us a good story in Rome. There was no story. There was one guy needed to get back to his wife. We get it. It was the Odyssey. But there was 8 other characters in there. I'm going to go back to you for the same exact reason. Are you honestly going to tell me that this show, with some terrific actors in it, giant sets, loved it, is worse than Flavor Flav? Absolutely, Ryan. And I'll tell you why, because I was more let down. The guy who we both love from Journeyman was one of the primary guys, and they didn't use him. He acted like an asshole. They didn't fucking... That was his character. No, but I'll agree. I mean, I kind of like the first season better than the second, but still, you could sit there and watch it. TV is such a fucking wasteland with these reality shows. I think the balls of you guys to pick some of these other shows. Give me my one thing, though, is that HBO canceled Deadwood Season 4 because of Rome, because they needed to spend more money on an HBO show that they've ever spent. And Rome was canceled after 2 seasons, so what? That happens on TV. Deadwood was fucking better. Deadwood, I get... Yeah, but we're not saying who broke your heart by getting rid of Deadwood. It's the worst thing on TV. Okay, Rome was also a bad show. It wasn't sexy enough. Do you not understand that Emerald had a fucking sitcom in this decade? I get it, but I didn't watch it. Do you get that there was something called Joe Millionaire that was on fucking TV? I get that. It was an awful decade. If I just looked at the damage that reality TV can do, I can't get over the fact that celebrities let themselves go from being the Prince of Darkness, now a member of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, to being a public fucking joke for people to taunt and tease, and that's okay for money. You know what I mean? Right. That Ozzy Osbourne, a person who I went back to, whether you're even a big fan of his music or not, he has done something as an artist. He has a body of work as an artist, and if there's any reason that everybody should sit around and taunt him and feel superior to him just so he can get a paycheck, I found that one of the sadder things, as well as they do most of the reality TV. But for me, the worst of had to be, I'll just give it to television news on the fucking lead up to the war. And the flag waving that took place, we're going to put pictures of people going over. We're all in this. Yeah, the Wall of Heroes, and we're all in this together. And the television news then deciding after the fact there are no weapons of mass destruction. They weren't asking those hard questions going in, but they are ready to fucking hang people after the fact. Yeah. Totally embarrassed. Totally embarrassed about what happened there. Well, I think the reason why that won't be a popular show is because
it makes everyone embarrassed. I think that, honestly, Ronnie, if you were to ask 75% of the Americans in this country, 75% would say, yeah, I want to kick Iraq's war.
Right, but
and you know what? I don't even want to do it with a southern accent. I think a New Jersey person would be like, yeah, let's kick fucking Iraq's
But guess
war.
what? That is fucking their fucking prerogative. The American people have always been somewhat stupid. It's the job somewhat to, if you're going to be the people bringing information.
Agree totally.
It's the same thing that we said about smart comedy. Are you going to lower yourselves to the standards of your fucking audience?
Right.
Or are you going to try to raise the audience up? Yes, the first one, when you lower your standards, you're always going to have a bigger audience. You're going to get the chicks.
It's always important to do it. Yeah.
Is that what you want to be the fucking the touchstone of what you're fucking doing?
Be uncomfortable. My brother is getting very uncomfortable going after this mayor in Los Angeles.
It also doesn't have to do with what we're talking about.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
That's more of just the booze. We've got a few minutes left in this one. It didn't seem like we could ever really come to a satisfied place for best or worst of TV. We were much closer in the movies.
Yeah.
On the outside of Fez, who you people turned on for liking, middle of the road
stuff,
crap. You jumped into Lost as being the best thing that we could do, which is basically, it's a Bruckheimer thing on TV, really.
No.
It's a Bruckheimer. It's TV Bruckheimer. But let's take this back to television personality of this decade, and I'm going to start it off because I think this was one of the few times that we had a TV star that was bigger than a lot of movie stars at the time, and that's James Gandolfini. James Gandolfini, it was his decade. People were almost forgetting just how big that show was for a while, where everybody was talking about it, Sopranos. And there was only one thing to it. It was him. It was Tony Soprano. He was bigger than life.
Tony Soprano, an amazing character.
Let's do this. Could you imagine The Sopranos without him?
No.
Would it have been as big? There was even talk, they'll kill Tony and spin the show off. And even HBO laughed at that.
Well, you couldn't replace James Gandolfini with another. You couldn't have had a Darren situation.
Well, he was
Bewitched.
and he was also one of the only times that you would see a large man with having sex.
Damn it,
on
Ryan.
Television.
Damn it.
What is it?
Damn it.
What's the
odd.
problem?
You hurt my fucking asshole.
What happened? What happened, Dave?
Because of the performer of the decade, I was going to say James Gandolfini.
You've got to get your own.
I know. Okay. I thought of it.
All right, hold on for your turn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait.
Damn it.
Anybody else thinking that Gandolfini? I mean, obviously Dave thinks that Gandolfini belongs at least. Would he be in your, let's say, top 5, Fez, top 3?
He would definitely. I think he would be top 3.
But you think you got one larger than him?
Yeah, I think.
We'll come back to you.
Not me, Ronnie.
Hicks, you think you've got one larger than him, or?
I think I have one that's very similar that could edge him out. Yeah.
All right, but he'd also be in your top 3. And Dave, you heard me say Gandolfini, so you jumped right in there.
I got one
without even thinking about it.
I have one bigger.
All right, but so you got one bigger than your paper.
Yeah.
So you didn't do the work that you were looking to. You'll give us the opportunity to ask Mr. Fez Whatley first. Fez Whatley, performer of the decade.
On TV, right?
On television, yes. Let's stay inside that format of TV. We won't use football, movies, or rock and roll right now.
Thank you.
Let's just say this about Dave. He might get to be an annoying drunk, but he's also a fun drunk. He's not angry with you. He's having fun.
No, I always have fun.
Yeah, you do.
I'm not like one of those angry assholes.
You're gonna have fun all the way to rehab.
That guy's gonna punch me in the. I'm gonna punch that guy in the fucking.
You never even want a fist fight.
I've never said.
How much did you drink, by the way?
Fez and I have
just about drank a bottle of whiskey.
Fez and I have killed a bottle of Jameson's.
All right.
Me and Fez.
Two buddies.
Yay.
Fez Watley, let's go back to you.
Uh-huh. I thought the best performance of the decade...
He loves to just say that thing before, and does it the whole time we do the Ron and Fez show.
Setting up.
I would give it to Michael C. Hall, Dexter. The serial killer who is everywhere in your everyday life.
If you don't want to do this, Fez, just tell us.
No, I want to do it.
If this topic is beneath you, just tell us. Are you going to compare Dexter with The Sopranos?
Yes, I would. I think it's that good of a show. I think it's that good of a performance.
I'm going to tell you right now. I think most people would probably, and I'm not one of them because I never watched it, they would have gave it to us for his 6 Feet Under character before Dexter.
Yep.
Let's go over to Hicks now.
Alec Baldwin in 30 Rock.
Alec Baldwin on 30 Rock. Came in late with it. It is a bigger-than-life character, and it's obviously changed his career.
Yeah,
his career's changed.
He was a dramatic actor, right? Pretty much everything before that was all drama.
Well, he was kind of a box office draw, like a real movie star there for a while. Would he make your, let's say, top 5?
Yes.
Yeah? What about for you, Fez?
Yeah, he would make my top 5.
Yeah.
Now, here's the fun thing. He would make my top 5. You know, I've never seen 30 Rock.
Mm. Would Dexter make anybody's top 5?
Didn't like the show.
Top 10? Top 20?
Yes.
Would he make your top 100? Let's just go there.
No.
Okay.
No, there's 100 things better than Dexter.
Yo, Gabba Gabba.
All right, so that... Fez, when we do the next hour of this, which I believe we're going to do sports next, you won't be part of it. And so the boys rejected you in movies.
Right.
They reject you in TV. I don't want to put it through sports.
They want to admit their own taste.
Yeah. But they don't want to what?
They don't want to admit their own taste, that they agree with me.
Okay.
I'd love a preview of the
They want to sound smart.
Show. Is there any way we can do a preview?
You know
of the
what it is.
show?
It's going to be John Gruden. No matter what comes up. There's not a lot of mystery to Fez Watley. He has very few opinions, but the ones that he has, he will give you daily.
That just destroyed me.
Thanks.
Ronnie?
Yes.
Ian McShane. Deadwood is one of the most underrated shows. It's in the top 5. It's in the top 10 of shows in the 2000s. It's certainly in the top 5 dramas of all time. It's one of the most underrated shows. It was brilliantly written, of course, by David Milch, who then went on to write John from Cincinnati, and the guy was amazing. And I think Americans then, for the first time, probably only time, because I thought that maybe, Woody Allen's movie was going to get Ian McShane into the American, mainstream, but apparently it's not. So Ian McShane in Kings is terrible, so Ian McShane.
What a piece of crap.
Deadwood.
What? On Deadwood. Ian McShane, you know who he played on Deadwood?
Who?
Snidely Whiplash.
No way.
I have a big black mustache, and I swear, so I'm the villain, is what I am.
Oh, my God, no. Oh, my God.
Fez, he was winning.
I'm going to tie someone to the railroad tracks.
He was winning the Emmys and the Golden Globes.
Oh, my God, no.
He was given that was a critically loved show. And he was given
the guy.
the full
it was a
credit for it.
That was the problem with it.
No, Fezzy, it was a critically loved show, and Ronnie, like you said, like you thought that Gangs of New York might be weak, but Bill the Butcher's one of like the great like villains of all time. This was a television equivalent, only not a ripoff. Not a ripoff. This fucking character that Ian McShane did was phenomenal as Al Swearingen. Unbelievable. He's a fucking villain through and through, and it's a real deal. And anytime you're watching a TV show and you're like, wow, this is the real deal. Because most TV shows, when you watch it, you're not saying that.
Are you just saying that because you felt like you laughed at your Dexter?
No, because I tried to watch Deadwood. I thought, what a great idea for a show. Here's a new Western that we haven't had on TV in years.
It's hardcore, though.
And I just found it so going through the motions.
Wait, what are you doing?
And,
Oh my God!
And that it was just
going through the motions.
And that it was like, you know what? We're gonna get attention because we're going to overly swear in this TV show.
Oh my God, they weren't doing
I just found it all so gratuitous.
Oh my God,
You
Fezzy.
work on fucking 202.
We could.
There's no such thing as gratuitous cursing. I've never gotten that bit at all. What do you get from saying a cuss word? It doesn't fucking help you at all. It's more or less just the way people talk.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that we've... But I've never thought, well, I'm going to slip the word fart in later and just really sit back and enjoy the laughter.
That's what they did on Deadwood.
It really,
didn't sound
seriously.
naturally
I mean,
at all.
it sounds like the same way people talk about us.
I can't
That's
wait
the biggest bullshit ever.
I can't wait till Ron says fart. I can't wait. If Ron says fart, holy mackerel, I am going to laugh. I mean, see, it's retarded. Wait.
I found it so unbelievable, so phony.
But I don't understand the anger that comes with Deadwood with a brilliant show. I mean, did Fez actually watch the show?
Yes, I tried watching like 3 or 4 episodes. I could not get into it.
Well, didn't a lot of people say that the first episodes weren't as good? Because I remember I was like, well, after they kill off Wild Bill, the show's going to stink.
They killed Wild Bill in episode 4, and that's when everyone's like, okay, well, I guess I'm out, because Wild Bill was such an important character. The show only got better, and then the show became more tangible. The show got more like, oh, holy fuck. Imagine what
Are you being
I would do.
gratuitous right now? By saying holy fuck?
No, Ronnie, I'm
You're
not
just trying to slip that in to be shocking.
Holy crap, Ronnie.
Okay.
Thank God it's an XL, though.
It is. Thank God it's...
Mr. B.
I don't know what we do without XL.
Mr. B. Holy crap.
All right, so there we are for the best and the worst.
Is that it?
Yeah, we got, this hour is wrapped up now. We move on to sports for our next hour. If you're listening, of course, we're going into...
They're fun.
Yeah, these are fun, and it's really fun when you're drunk. We're going into the best of Ron and Fez that you're going to enjoy. But even though that the guys that you all have brought up as personalities, after I got past Gandolfini, I would have gone back to my original thing. Jon Stewart, Stephen Colbert have done more for television and do it more times than all these people that you're discussing right now. Those guys are...
Can I throw in one last one? Mm-hmm. Maybe Letterman. In this decade's been better. In this decade, perhaps better for him than in the 90s. Perhaps.
Maybe, but he still isn't where he was in the 80s. So
you're right.
I can't give
You're
him.
absolutely right about that.
I mean, I watch his show, and I'm telling you right now, those other guys, Colbert and Stewart, are putting so much more into it and have so much more trust in their audience than the late night guys. Okay, we're about to run into a best of, unless you're, I think, listening on New Year's Eve weekend, and then you're probably hearing all of these, so you'll hear another hour of these. I don't know how it works, because I'm on vacation right now.
Chris Stanley's going to put it all together.
Is he?
He says he is.
Everything's going to work out for everyone.
He claims he is.
All right, let's have one more drink to it all.
Run big.
Real quick, Hicks, who do you think is drunker, Fez or Dave?
It seems Fez started out drunker, but now Dave's drunker. I think Fez sobered up a little bit.
Deadwood sobered me up.
No way.
Fez gets drunk quick, and Dave gets drunk really slow. Even after he stops drinking, it's still like the drunk level can come on.
Right.
You must have slow blood or something.
I do. I have slow fucking Irish blood.
Oh, you're just being gratuitous.
No, I have like
you don't need the F-bomb.
Autistic blood.
You don't need the F-bomb. You're too pretty to wear a skirt so trashy.
Watch me, Ryan.
You don't need to do that.
Watch.
Oh, you're a good puncher.
I'm too pretty, right?
Yeah,
like Muhammad Ali. Like this. Left, right. Okay.
All right, that is it. On to the best of Ron and Fez.